So, good evening. We are waiting everybody to connect to start. So maybe we will keep it like for 2 minutes more, and we will start. So thank you all for coming. We are going to remain like for 2 minutes to wait for everybody to connect. Hello, welcome everyone. We are waiting for the people to connect. We see that the people it's connecting, so in 1 minute we will start. Hello, welcome everyone. We are waiting just a couple of minutes for everybody to connect, so we will start in a minute. Thank you. Okay, so I think that we can start. Thank you everyone for coming. We're going to talk about today about acceleration in COVID times. My name is Santiago Larrauri. I am the head of new business in Making Science, and with me is the specialist. So we will be talking today of um, of digital transformation in COVID times. First of all, I would like to introduce Making Science. We are an international digital marketing and data consultancy company. We are in Europe and in Mexico. We're more than 240 consultants and more than 65 ELP specialists. We position ourselves as a CMO partner. We can do a lot of services, like for example in advertising. We manage campaigns for Open Bank, L'Oreal, for a lot of customers. We do also data and SEO from the analysis of the website to something more complicated like machine learning and dashboarding, big data, etc. We also do SEO from the technical part of the whole BPO, more things like content, social strategy, SEO. We do also brand content strategy, positioning the brand and doing content for special for the brand. Also using creativity and development and infrastructure. We position ourselves like a smart strategy 360, that we can do everything in digital for our customers. In fact, well, here today we are going to talk about a very special part of the company, which is the digital transformation. We're working with tools like G Suite that allows you to transform your company by collaborative work. For clients, we have clients in e-commerce, in retail, in insurance and banking, also in utilities, a lot of travel. No? We manage our client internationally. We have office in Madrid, Lisbon, France, Italy, and also Mexico. But we manage all our clients worldwide. We work out of with our partners. In fact, well, here today we are doing this deal with Google. We are partnered with Google and Google Marketing Platform, also in Google Cloud, and we also partnering from Google. We are in advertising with Google Partner Premier. Our differential value is that in front of Google technology, we also own technology as Scout, which is of machine learning applied to digital marketing. Unifeeder, which allows you to manage your feed of your company, your e-commerce. Shop type, which is a comparison shop inside. Data quality and Yellow, which is our e-commerce tool. Well, this is all scope and awards that's raised from our clients and some cases published in Google. And today we are going to talk about digital transformation. And well, this is a mini that you may have seen it in the web. Who said, who led the digital transformation of your company? It was the CEO, it was the CTO, or it was the COVID. So we have seen that well, the COVID has forced us to transform our companies in the way that we work. No? In fact, well, we have seen that 70% of the people who are using digital channels for the first time, they say that they will keep using digital channels when the things will back to normal. No? We have seen a lot of people that has been forced to use digital channels. And once they have used it, they say that they will continue using after the crisis. Here we see the offline consumption in China before the COVID and after the COVID. No? And what we see is that the people is going to continue online. So based in data for countries that are already in the recovery phase, the consumption patterns will be unlikely to return to pre-COVID levels. And smart working has a strong adoption. Now, in the lockdown, everyone, well, in fact, you can see that I am at home, no? So this is the new normal, is the teleworking, the remote working, and well, the levels of remote working are going to. It's likely that they're going to remain higher, no, after the crisis. And we have like identified three axes for digital transformation. The first is the team structure, the cultural change. You have to change the people. The second one is the technology and the tools of the technology that we use. The third one is the scalability and automation based on data. In the cultural, in the change of the teams, you have to align the organization with the new digital priorities. The digital employee was a nice to have. Now is the only way to go. And you have to evaluate which teams you need to increase the speed and the ability, which teams you need to work together, and which model you need to use to push that product. About the technology, you make a selection of all your technology, and you have to make a plan to modernize and also cybersecurity because you have to work remote and in a secure way. We have experienced that there is a lot of cyber attacks here during the COVID, so it's very important to have a secure environment. Obviously, you need tools to work in a collaborative way. You need to edit everything online, and this is an opportunity to change from fixed cost to variable cost. Now you can think about instead of buying something fixed on on-premise technology, you have everything on the cloud and everything is scalable. That brings me to the third one, the scalability and automation. Now you can use data to improve the automation management process at a scale. We have experienced this in making science. For example, in my department, I lead the business department. We have done a lot of work in automate all the processes. And well, we are partners of Salesforce and we do the transformation for a lot of clients. And but they say, the shoemaker son always goes barefoot. No, that we thanks to the COVID, we have the time to also transform our own businesses. And we have transformed all the processes. We have identified the gaps, the redundancies and conflicts. And we have experienced that if you want to expand your business, if you want to have an exponential growth, you have to use the data and the automation. No? And we have discovered that thanks to all these crises, there will be also business ideas and business expansion. No? We have to rethink of our businesses because now all the human interaction has changed, and we will, for example, all the think about the supermarket or all the retail, all the human interaction. I have seen, for example, if you're staying in Decathlon, now that you go to all your items and you put all them into a box and like magic, they give you all the price of your items and you pay without any human interaction. No, so we are seeing that people are rethinking their businesses. So well now, Moussi is going to continue getting more detail in this technology, online and cloud. No, so Moussi.
Seems to simply just use the chat to tell me if my voice is unclear or there's background noise or anything of the sort that makes my speech or everything I say not really clear. So my name is Moussi Samaha, and I'm a G Suite specialist for SEAM, so Southern Europe and emerging markets. I've been working with G Suite for roughly about 4 years now, mainly on digital transformation, reimagining the workspace, as well as projects that started way before COVID or anything of the sort. Back in the days, it was still called Google for Work, and now we're back to we're forward to G Suite, and we've made a lot of progress since then. So I was just going to show you a little bit about what G Suite does, digital transformation is a big topic that Santiago spent quite an amount of time showing how making science is collaborating with customers and collaborating with companies to take this forward. And to his point, there's been a lot of activity and a lot of leeway that companies have been, and the market has been showing in the past couple of years, and that's been growing exponentially. So we're from G Suite perspective, up to 2 billion active users per month, as well as 90 million on the education bit, which is a very, very big front that G Suite prides itself on elaborating on, as well as working with many educational institutions. 6 million plus paying businesses, and we're talking about single businesses and not users within businesses. So as you can imagine, and as you can see, the progress is showing and is continuing and is nothing but growing. And we've also seen that the customers that have been moving on G Suite, and not to really badmouth or put any other companies or competitors in in a bad position, but statistics show and numbers do show as well. And a lot of the transformations and a lot of the impact has been done on three fronts. So innovation, enjoying from a customer perspective, and the employees as part of the organization, as well as having a positive impact, right? So most of the companies and the employees specifically, after they've moved on to G Suite, have noticed a tremendous change, and this is what we're going to be talking about a little further. And I'm sure actually everybody can relate, because in the last 3 months things have been unprecedented, and we are starting to work and have been working and will probably continue working in a way that has never been done before. So this really showcases what G Suite and Google's transformation is all about, because the way we process things is mostly around collaboration and change management as well, which is really the focal point of what the solution does. So going back to my point about businesses and Internet of Things, as well as many businesses having to move into this transition of the cyber world and the virtual world, to say the least, everybody here has gone from working with people in the office to being alone at home, or with family, obviously, but working at home without their colleagues being there. Just like we're doing today, everybody's sitting at home, so am I, and we're doing this presentation and we're talking and discussing G Suite, as well as making science is collaboration, from the comfort of our houses, from our desks that we've all prepared at the last minute. And this is all that's the impact of G Suite and the impact of collaboration. This is what really relies on having everybody work together at the same time, so collaborating at the same time, as well as saving on time and repetitive tasks that can be automated or done in collaboration, not to be repeated. So time efficiency dictates obviously productivity, dictates obviously revenue. So it all comes from the bottom all the way up, and it's also from the top down approach when it comes to change management. So again, holding on to some numbers that are really interesting, and these are fairly average sized companies that have shown, again, to prove how much more the employees and people really engaging with each other are enjoying that engagement more and more, as much as a collaboration environment can provide, as well as can become more innovative, right? So we will see in a little bit how they have access to the information in a much smarter way, as well as in a faster way. So there are many tools within G Suite and within a digital transformation in general that really sum up those numbers that you see here in front of you, from a positive impact to an innovation ability, as well as just the enjoyment of work and being happy at the workplace. Right now, the workplace is unfortunately a home. For some of us, it's really efficient, and we really like this. But for others, I'm assuming, and I could also be one of them as well, is that we love the interaction with our peers and our colleagues, and all of that. A digital transformation really plays a part in all of these scenarios. So see it for yourself from one of our customers that we've managed to move to a G Suite transformation project not too long ago. So Airbus, obviously, most of you know the giant airline company, the aircraft company, let's call it, and their move of G Suite was disruptive from the way they were doing business. So the way they were working in the past was more of a transactional and task-oriented approach, but now it's more of a project collaborative approach. So it's very broad and general, the sentence that we've shared from our CIO, but what we really aim to show is that it's just very simple as well. It's just simply the fact that the way things were done in the past are lead to specific results that could be stagnating, that could be loss of time, disengagement, etc. We just spoke about that. But a digital transformation from the bottom up as well as the top down do present many advantages and many positive impacts, which is just changing the way we work towards a better outcome. So how is that being done? That is being done on three main pillars. So three fronts, which is collaboration, control, and communication. So we're going to go through all three fairly quickly, just to give you a broad idea. I don't want to bore you with details, and this is why ourselves as Google experts, as well as the partners, are there to carry on the conversation. Says that relies on IT and either technical or security perspective. We have a chapter that's focusing on control. From an employee perspective, the collaboration bit is what really stands out when it comes to G Suite. Whereas communication is really how we do that on a daily basis, how we communicate between each other, how we send out certain messages, certain emails, and just the way the collaboration is done. So all three of them are intertwined, but it's important to also separate them to understand every single chapter and what's really the bread and butter of each pillar. So when we reimagine work, when we're looking at the way things were done and we're looking at them on a new horizon and with a big change, we're looking at speed, we're looking about smart, and we're looking about making it together. So when it comes to fast access to information, which I mentioned earlier, and smart access to information, we'll see a little bit about, and we'll talk a little bit about the AI behind the engine of Google. So when we're typing up emails, as you can see here very briefly on the screen, there's an AI that's learning on a daily basis. So how is this person sending out emails? What are the keywords they use? Are they replying usually to that person? We're using their name, so they will automatically plug and play and put in the name of that person. So what we're doing is cutting corners here and there. So from very specific and very simple tasks, as sending an email on a daily basis, the AI behind Gmail is shaving off maybe 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds, right? But 6 seconds or 5 seconds on 1,000 employees on a daily basis over a year comes out to several hours and sometimes weeks and sometimes days, depending on the tasks, right? So that's what I wanted to showcase here. So the fast way of doing things with G Suite is mainly around the repetitive tasks. So I'm sending the email out to everybody on a weekly basis. I'm sending it out to everybody on a daily basis, or I'm even wanting to send out this email specifically every Thursday for the following Thursday. So if you see on the bottom right hand side, there's a little lock sign with a timer next to it. So this is a scheduled email. So I can send out this email a week ahead of time, or I can write it up, type it up today, and I want to send it out in a week's time. So these are certain things that G Suite is doing, and this is a very simple example. We can look at other example as well, which we will see about accessing the information faster and not just doing the tasks faster. So 54% of the employees and 54% of the users on G Suite are editing documents on the go. So this means that 1 out of 2 people is not necessarily sitting down on a desk or owning a laptop that's going to be, let's say, put somewhere to be doing a specific task. But whereas we're talking about mobile device management, and we're also talking about tablets, and at times we're talking about laptops where we can be either on a train or in flight and whatnot. So this is very important because this shows how everything is done. Now, I'm not really creating the wheel again explaining this, but I would just really like to emphasize on how G Suite really caters to this lifestyle. So this is a major retailer that we have, again, as a bit of a testimony here, that has been on G Suite for a while now and just typically changed the entire warehousing and inventory management that they had, and was able to really save on productivity, save on inventory management, as well as having access to the teams and the team's information a lot faster than they used to before, which is a little bit of an old solution that they had. So all of that is also making it smarter. So we're not just being fast, we're also being smart. So behind the engine that we talked about earlier is not only examples and solutions to do things faster from an email perspective or from a document perspective, but it's also about accessing the right information. So today and everywhere around the world, we have all the information we need. And we're not talking about the solution here. Let's talk about an engine. So where do I go to on a daily basis if I have a question? I go to google.com. I was like, okay, are peanut butter better than almond butter? So things like that. We have access to all of the information in today, and we're getting more and more access. We're actually getting showered with information on a daily basis. But how do we classify and categorize that? And this is really does behind the engine at Google, is that it will expose you to the right information at the right time using certain keywords. So as you can see here, sales update for 2019, it will go back and see the sales report that you've seen the week before, potential reports that have been done by your colleagues. So this is all as part of the organization, and is shaving a lot of time. So I can't remember the number of times I went on certain files and folders to look for information, whereas at this point we're looking at a keyword, a key sentence that's going to come out with a lot of information for me. So again, people do need to get the right information to do their job, and using Google in general is an easy way to get answers, but G Suite also has that same power when we're looking for information. So again, I had files from 2016 that I need to dig up. It literally just takes about opening the address bar, plugging in the name of the document I'm looking for or the idea behind that. So webinar on security, etc., and it will provide those information. It probably won't be the top 2, top 3, but if we opened up that list, or it could be actually if the name is quite close enough. So there's a lot of ways to plug to use this and test it out, but it's very, very powerful. So again, part of doing it smart is what we've incorporated within the other apps like Decks and Sheets and Documents. So the Explorer, for instance, in the Sheets is something where we can put an idea of what I'm looking for. So I want the annual average revenue for a specific region when I have all of the data from the entire world. And Google Sheets will through the Explore button or through the Explore application is going to come up with certain formulas and is going to suggest certain numbers that will that will actually do the work I wanted to do, but all I used was the words that I needed. So I want the average of that region, but I don't know how to put it, and I don't know what cells to use. It will do that for me. So exploring through sheets is very simple and very easy, and it can help us progress a lot more than just looking for the formula. So making it together is where I go back to collaboration. And when we're talking about collaboration, we're talking about daily messages, daily emails, sending out files and folders and whatnot. And obviously, for those of you who are exposed to G Suite in the past or have a bit of an idea of how it works, Gmail is the mailing system, whereas we have Chat and Meet, which are the video conferencing solution and the chat solution. And we're also working on having a one-stop shop solution where the user will be on and use all three together. They're very powerful tools. They used to be one tool in the past. We've broken them down to 3 separate applications because of the progress each have been making in the past 10 or 11 years. But now we're also bringing them back together because of how powerful they can be when under the same platform. So collaboration is key when we're talking about execution. It's key when we're talking about real-time changes being done from a team working on a specific project altogether. Forget about versioning, forget about sending the file and waiting for it to be sent back. We're talking about opening one sheet or one doc and making changes to the presentation together and accepting together. So if we're doing it live through comments or we're doing it as part of a video conferencing call, we can literally finalize a whole presentation within 20 minutes and agree on the next steps. So for the sake of time, I'm going to be just putting a bit more speed into this conversation to also leave some time for questions at a later stage. But we can also see a major player in the tech industry, Salesforce, who actually use G Suite to collaborate together on a daily basis. And you can imagine, coming from a sales organization, how important it is for everybody to communicate on a daily and hourly basis, to say the least. So going back to security for the techies as part of this session today, we spend upwards of $1 billion a year on security. We even hire hackers to hack ourselves to be so secure and to have I want to call it first in line technology out there to be as secure as possible. And the numbers speak to themselves, where we had 0 reported cases of hijacking and close to 199.9% accuracy in spamming and sandboxing, and all of the solutions, all of the defenses you will need to block away malware and spamware, and ransomware, which are kind of becoming a trend lately, which is unfortunate. But fortunately enough, at least we does cater for that. So coexistence, again, is a very important point. A lot of customers might not be ready to make a full transition, might want to keep some of the legacy solutions and the legacy providers within the organization for specific reasons. Coexistence between, let's say, Microsoft and other solutions out there like SAP and Salesforce are definitely there. The seamless integration is very easy, and we've seen that in many, many examples, and in large companies as well as small startups. So do not shy away from engaging in the conversation because you think that your finance department, for instance, really needs Excel, because we can keep those running the same way and the same time as the other users being on G Suite. So that being said, the business value, if you look at it from a decision-making process, is to really deliver significant cost reductions as revenue increase, as well as time efficiency, obviously mitigating risk when it comes to data breaches and security. So it's really a big package on security collaboration, which is change management, the way the culture of the company is, as well as revenue from a pricing standpoint. So we look at the 3 fundamentals of change, of collaboration, of security. Well, that's 4 with price. These really make up any decision maker's mind when it comes to assessing a certain project. So from a G Suite perspective, I gave an idea of what G Suite does, how it really disrupts a business for the major part. And I want to take some time to go through Meet today, which is our video conferencing solution. And all of you have obviously at least heard or seen Google Meet being now available for the public. So on meet.google.com, you can simply just go from any browser and initiate a conversation with anybody you wish around the world. All they need to do is accept the link, and you open a 60-minute conversation at any given point at any place in the world. That also is true for businesses because Google Meet and what we call today G Suite Essentials, it's not only Meet as a video conferencing, you would also have Drive and certain documents and sheets to use as part of G Suite Essentials. So not to confuse you too much, Google Meet is free until September 30th. For usage across companies. You can deploy this today and keep using all of the enterprise features. So the highest level and the highest grade of security and the highest level of collaboration and recording meetings, which we will see in a few minutes, are there for you to use. The integration is actually I don't want to call it an integration because you don't even need an integration. So you don't need any domain verification. It's just a plug and play kind of solution at this point. You say, yes, I would like to use Google Meet, and we can just provision the licenses and you can start using the solution immediately. So it's very simple. This is an idea of the user experience and the user interface at the same time, where we can just join, open a meeting, and add more recipients, as well as if you see at the bottom right-hand side, you can share the link for someone who wants to join the conversation. There's international dial-in code, so if you're in a country that's kind of remote, but the other people creating the meeting are in a country or in an environment that they can actually just have a video conference, but you cannot support that from where you are. It's just a dial-in number that you can use. We actually cover a lot of countries for it to be a free call, eventually being a local call and not an international call. So sharing the screen is something that we're doing today right now on this platform. Google Meet obviously has that and more. So you can share your entire screen, you can share a specific tab, so you really control what you want to show. We've honestly mastered this at Google because we use this on a daily basis. Now I'm pretty sure everybody here on the call today has in some way, shape, or form shared their screen or had a similar presentation or similar talk with their colleagues and wanted to show something specific on their screen. So these tools are very easy to maneuver. And we're introducing on a monthly basis almost, which is usually very Google does that on a quarterly basis and sometimes on a semester basis. But having new features adding on a weekly, sometimes monthly basis is something unprecedented for Google, and is really good because we take our time and develop our features and our let's say our improvements a lot. So we test them and retest them and stress them for them not to fail when we go public. So we recently came out with adaptive layouts where you can have 6, 7, or 8 or 9 people on the same screen, or just yourself, or just whatever you're presenting. So you can play around with that as well. And we follow along with live closed captions sometimes, and if that's something you would want to do, you can either turn them on or turn them off, which is a great option to have for those of you who can't keep up with fast speech if it's a different or not so familiar language. We also have a translation on certain level of subscription. The caption can be translated, right? So if we have someone today on the call that does not speak English, for instance, we can the caption can be translated. So that's something revolutionary if you're thinking about interacting with people from outside the organization. We can go up to 250 participants easily on a single call. So that's something that's really accommodating for a lot of companies when we're having like all hands call and calls that are larger than just a specific team. But if it goes even beyond that, we can live stream up to 100,000 users, right? So we can have, let's say, a team of 3 or 4 that are having a specific call, and we can onboard 100,000 viewers at once in that call with a seamless connection and seamless bandwidth. So when we talk about recording meetings, I know that today's call might be recorded, and it's something you can do on a daily basis. So any training session, any onboarding, any offboarding that you might need for your employees, for future employees, or for people offboarding that you would like to share, recording meetings are very important. and it can be kept in the drive instantly. As soon as you finish the call, you just close that call, and the recording of that meeting will be sent out to the drive under a specific name, and you can have that till perpetuity. So this creates a lot of opportunities for HR, for instance. It creates a lot of opportunities for sales enablement, and also creates a lot of opportunities for sometimes leaders of organization who want to send out a message to the entire organization, and it can do it simply through a link. So they record that session or that call that they have with a specific person, and they share it with the rest of the organization, discussing something specific or not. So that is my time today. I'm leaving about 10 to 13 minutes for Q&A. If anybody has any questions, would like me to elaborate on specific points. Just to wrap up very quickly, we really had a high-level idea of what G Suite is about when it comes to collaboration, when it comes to security, and when it comes to impact making within the organization. So this is very important because these are the key factors. And I'm talking from a CEO's perspective, as well as a decision maker's perspective that might be on the lower level and have a specific team that they need to think about. And that needs to be done from a change management perspective. G Suite changes culture, changes the way things are done, workflows, as well as the way business is being done and the way business has been done. So the way forward is always different. There's sometimes a bit of ambiguity when we first onboard G Suite. That is part of change management, but very quickly people realize, and that's what we showed at the beginning in terms of numbers, that the impact is bigger. The people feel more engaged, and innovation starts to show. So people start having ideas, start taking initiatives on new ways of doing things. And finally, what I wanted to also share with you is an idea of what Google Meet is like, the video conferencing solution that has been part of G Suite forever, but now is really standing out because the need is there. We all need to communicate on a daily basis, and we need to do it in a very, very efficient way. And Google Meet definitely helps us do that. So off to Santiago if you wanted to add anything, and off to the rest of the viewers if they would like to ask any questions.
Well, Moussi, first of all, thank you very much for participating with us in this event. And nothing to add. If anyone has any question, please let us know. We are going to wait 1 minute and see the chat if there is any question. Well, here we have one question. It says, Alfredo says, how does the translation works exactly?
I'm sorry, can you repeat? How does the translation works exactly? Okay. Yes. Thank you, Michael, for this question. What the translation is, so as I'm talking right now, the experience on Google Meet will be that there are captions at the bottom. So everything I'm saying will be captioned, and it's actually very accurate. I've tested it many times. The caption will be word for word what I'm saying. The more articulate you are, the more the AI will capture the word. Now, what it will do is that it will use Google Translate. And as you know, Google Translate right now is not just word for word. It's starting to take context. It's starting to take idioms, and it's starting to take specific slang every now and then, and it's obviously progressing. So what it ends up doing is that it will take your speech and translate it. So as a user and a viewer, you will not see me talk in English. Well, you will hear me talk in English, but you will not see the wordings in English. You will see them in the wordings that you choose the language for. So that's how it will work. Does that answer the question?
Okay. Thank you, Alfredo.
One thing I would like to add, if
yes,
possible, since I got a word from Alfredo, thank you for attending. I just wanted to add one thing, that as G Suite specialists and in collaboration with Making Science as a partner, please feel free to engage in the discussions, right? It could be 20 to 30 minutes. We can discuss and solve for you for any idea that you might have or any need that you would like to tackle when it comes to your organization. So that you might have ideas about specific things you would like to change, and we can discuss how G Suite can do that for you. It could be projects sometimes outside of G Suite, so we will do that link for you. The approach and the relationship doesn't need to be on a specific project, and if I don't want to make a change, then there's no need for us to talk. It's always nice to probe and see what the other organizations and the other solutions have out there. So feel free to reach out to the partner and myself if you would like to engage in a discussion and really understand some projects forward, some specific features. We're happy to do that. At the end of the day, I'm a subject matter expert, and my role is to really create adoption, and we are measured on adoption and on usage, and it's not exactly a matter of numbers and or sales or anything of the sort. It's really the focus and the primary KPIs are really around people that are on G Suite to use G Suite properly and to all of its extent and power, and for people that would like to onboard G Suite for the right reasons. Just to onboard it for the specific use cases that they want to have or they want to approach, and for the right reasons when it comes to productivity and change management. So obviously, no one can make their decision and their make up their ideas on their own. It's always nice to talk with people in the business, specifically subject matter experts like myself around G Suite. So I'll be happy to engage with those conversations. Please don't shy away if you have simple questions. There's no such thing as a wrong question. Any discussion you would like, even through email, I'm happy to engage. Just to Santiago Rauri, sorry if I mispronounced the last name. The video conferencing solution, Google Meet, now has noise canceling. So it has been deployed, and this goes back to the initial idea that we're doing changes on a monthly basis and sometimes weekly basis. So it's no longer on a quarterly basis like it used to be. We're doing very, very fast improvements. And now noise cancellation, so the noise cancellation feature is already part of Google Meet. You can already do that. Yes, it's integrated. Okay, sorry, I think we got the questions a bit late. Yes, it's already integrated. It's in beta right now and will be rolled out. It's actually being rolled out as we speak, but it's being done in chunks. Absolutely, yes. You can definitely share a presentation using your phone. I did that today, very specifically. We had a call about a specific customer, and we wanted to run some numbers on a proposal before we go and attend a tender. So I had to take the call on my phone, and the other person shared the tricks. I was able to change it, and I actually made changes on the tricks through my phone, and then I shared the presentation back with the other people. So everything, I want to say 95% of what you could do on your laptop, you could also do on your phone on the go. So there's very little limitation on what you can do.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that there's what is the security approach of Google Drive?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question. What is security approach of Google Drive? Okay, well, the security approach of Google Drive, actually, this is a big one. So when it comes to DLP and Security Center and the investigation tool, this is really an unparalleled solution. So I've done sessions on deep diving with security for specifically that, because it doesn't just touch Drive, it also touches Gmail and the entire organization. The security level is tremendous, and we're talking about OCR integrated within the DLP, setting certain rules, as well as an investigation tool that's part of the security center, which if by any chance, God forbid, there's one infected user, it will go look for the chain of all other users that have been infected by a phishing email, let's say, or a malware function, or anything of the sort, and it will basically block all of those users until the issue is solved. So it's really, I can't really answer that in one sentence, but the deep dive in security is something we definitely do as a session all alone, because of how important and how detailed we go down into securing every single device as well as the entire domain. So security is, I want to say, our main advantage. If, let's say, on a competitive market, if we're looking at other solutions out there, Google really prides itself on the security bit, and this is what today is the most important part. And we're having an event. I can share those details with the partners, and they can share those with everybody who was at the session today. On July 9th, we're having a massive security event discussing security breaches, security webinar around all of the features, and hijacking, which is a very important part, which is data breaches. Kind of like what's happening right now around the world when companies have data breaches. We have a specialized team who's going to be talking about how to prevent data breaches, as well as how to deal with them, or how to set up our domain or environment to be as secure as possible and as ready to push away certain breaches of the sort and to not be really exposed. So I urge you all to attend if you have the chance, and I would be more than happy to answer any other specific questions about security.
Okay, I think that we are running out of time. Thank you, all of you, for attending. Thank you, Moussi, for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you. And well, if you have any other question, as Moussi said, we can organize a more detailed call with all your doubts or your questions, and we can answer all of them. We will send you the deck and a resume of everything. So thank you very much for everyone for attending.
Thank you.
Goodbye.